Lieutenant Colonel Schiller.
Quickly, right? What about people who say, hey, look, I hear you guys, he needs special care. We got to make sure that the Marine Corps deals with the issues they got in the chain of command that he brought up and not persecute him. But if people, let's say, hey, look, I gave money, but now they look at this Facebook, particularly General Flynn, President Trump and his family, I just can't, I don't want to support it anymore. Are you prepared to open it up that if people want their money back, can they do that?
All right, so question to Eddie Gallagher. Hey, people have seen these Facebook posts, or they watched BCP's or heard BCP's episode this morning and not too happy. Can they get their money back? So if Steve Bannon and Eddie Gallagher are addressing this, then that goes to show that those Facebook posts are legitimate. Some people were even questioning if they were legitimate, which is, it's legitimate to question if those Facebook posts were real or not. But apparently they are.
In fact, we have been working all day today and giving people their money back if they are asking for it. That's it's understandable given the climate that we're in. But we are also telling them, the Pipe Hitter Foundation was formed to help people that are in a crisis. When as a board, when we agree to help people, we're not helping them on their best day. And so, this guy is in a crisis. So is his family. So we are going to continue to raise money for them and help them out.
Yes, it's non-political. I mean, it is political, but it's not political. He doesn't have to love Trump. He's in a crisis, right? He's in a crisis. And once again, you don't always think straight when we're in a crisis. I mean, have any of you been under duress and stress? I'm not excusing, because I don't agree with what Lieutenant Colonel Schiller said, but I support his right to say it. It's also not tactically a good move when the people supporting you are MAGA people, and you're trying to separate those people who are trying to help you. This is kind of a situation where you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. But at the same time, as a libertarian and as a true conservative, if you want to say something, and even if I don't agree with it, I agree that you should still not be a political prisoner for saying and speaking your mind.
Okay, so you'll give the money back to anybody. So everybody knows, if you go to Pipe Hitters, if you're upset about this, you want your money back. Senior Chief and his wife and the board over there,
they're going to refund your money. All right. So you probably know this already, and people are asking me this as well in the comment section. BCP, Facebook is down, Instagram is down. What do you know about it? What are the causes? Well, let me just tell you right now, in bold caps, the cause is unknown. Okay, and I'll show you what Facebook said, but it's a load of crock of crap, because it wasn't just Facebook that was down, and Instagram and WhatsApp, all their companies, but it was also Twitter, Google, Verizon, AT&T, and Telegram, and others also reported issues. For instance, this episode's up a little bit later than usual. My show over at bcpextras.com was up a little bit later than usual, because some of the clips that I had seen and wanted to download, I had seen them on social media, and I couldn't download them. It took me a while to find some of the clips on that show. On that show, I show lots of clips. For those that want, you can check out my show over at bcpextras.com. I cover stories I can't cover on this platform because they don't allow us to have open discussion about some of these topics. So a lot of us were delayed. So it was just more than just Facebook. It was a global outage. They were showing a map of different places where Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram all crashed, as well as other places, and it did have a global reach. Rumble, by the way, reports that they had no issues, nor did Getter, but Twitter did, blaming it on increased use. But here are some of the companies that have reported having issues today: Facebook and Facebook Messenger, Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, T-Mobile and T-Mobile Metro, Spectrum, Verizon, AT&T, Google, Cricket Wireless, Amazon, Apple, TikTok, Snapchat, and others. So there you go, folks. But what the person said over at Facebook, their chief technology officer, offered his sincere apologies on Monday afternoon as a global outage of the website, along with Instagram and Snapchat, stretched into its fifth hour, costing the company $50 billion and CEO Mark Zuckerberg $7 billion and counting. So I'm not crying about the $7 billion that Mark Zuckerberg lost, not because I'm a hater, but because those are ill-gotten gains, and also because he meddled in certain things in November that he should not have meddled in. Once again, a topic I can't touch here, but if you know what I'm talking about or want to know what I'm talking about, head over to bcpextras.com. The cause of the outage is believed to have been made have been changes made to Facebook's system at 11:50 a.m. So, how did the changes to Facebook system affect Twitter, T-Mobile, Spectrum, Verizon, AT&T, and Amazon and Apple, TikTok and Snapchat? It's a lie. But the official thing is we don't know who did it. And if their outage, Facebook's change to their system, caused all of that, then Mike Cernovich is correct. He tweeted out today ended the antitrust debate. No one company can have this much control over the internet and web-based communication, break the companies up. So if they weren't lying and all this was caused by Facebook, Facebook is too big because they caused a global outage. But they're probably lying. It was probably something bigger, and this may be the beginning of more outages. Now, for some of you that followed and go back and still read certain leaks by a certain 17 anonymous group of people, they talked about a time when there would be an information blackout. So for those of you that still follow and believe in that, this adds credence to your expectations that there may be a time when action is taken and we are all left in the dark because, I don't know, Facebook made a change to their system and the whole world went down. All right, folks, this is the beginning of the end of the great economic times we've had. Thanks to Joe Biden, oil prices today reached their highest prices since 2014. That's right, the highest in 7 years. The highest price since the latter half of the second term of one Barack Hussein Obama. Right now, we're in the third term of one Obama, who's really running the show behind the commander in chief and former vice president, the occupier of the Oval Office, former Vice President Joe Biden. Stocks fell sharply in afternoon trading Monday as Wall Street comes off its worst week since winter. The price of oil hit a 7-year high as OPEC and allied oil producers stuck with a plan to cautiously raise production even as global demand for crude oil increases. Once again, OPEC is in charge and has power because the bastard Joey cut off the Keystone XL pipeline and has made us no longer energy independent, something that we achieved under the great president Donald John Trump. U.S. crude oil prices rose 2.7% and topped $77 per barrel for the first time since 2014. OPEC's got a little pressure, and they agreed to add 400,000 barrels per day, but not until November. Once again, for those of you who lived through the Carter years, if this is starting to look like deja vu, I'll have to agree with you with everything that I've read about it. I wasn't looking at and living through that, at least consciously, at that time. In other words, I was too young. Natural gas prices jumped 2.8%. Devon Energy rose 6.8%. So energy prices across the board. Energy prices are going up. People are losing their job because of certain government action, and the market is crashing. So also any kind of wealth that you've been trying to build in the stock market is getting hit as well. And it doesn't end there. China's economic crisis has arrived, and because Joe Biden has tangled us back in with China when we're starting to get more untangled from China under Trump, it is going to affect us. Here are some things happening in China if you are not aware. First of all, they are having a hit to their economy. All right, so here's what's happening. There's rumors coming out of China that manufacturing concerns in the country are now down to only working 3 days a week. They are having power outages, rolling back, cutting electric power by 1 day a week in many parts of China. And of course, we have China Evergrande that suspended trading today, as supposedly they're supposed to be taking over, the largest debtor in Hong Kong out of China, that is going to have ramifications through global markets. It has billions in China properties and the debts that go with it. So a 2008 crash is going on in China, about to happen in China. This is the beginning of this of these new sets of crises, and of course we're entangled in it. All right, so as all these things are happening, you may want to know, is Joe Biden really being controlled by China? Is his son Hunter still intertwined in China? Well, we don't know. And we have here Emerald Robinson, great journalist over. Oh, why am I drawing a blank? Is she at Newsmax? OAN? She's at Newsmax. Yeah, Emerald Robinson's at Newsmax. Correct me if I'm wrong. Pretty sure she's with Newsmax, not OAN. But she got in it with Press Secretary Jen Psaki today because she wanted to know once again what the hell's happening with Hunter Biden being not divesting from his investments and his ownership in China.
To start trade talks back with them. There was concern when President Biden took office about his son's business dealings with China. He was supposed to divest himself of his stake in a Chinese private equity firm in December with ties to the Chinese central bank. As of April, he had not yet done that. And at some point, you were going to get back to us on that. Do you have an update on that? Has he dissolved that interest now?
All right. So the former vice president, when he was running for president, said, my family's going to have nothing to do with foreign companies and countries. Everything, we're going to divest of all that kind of stuff. That's something that Joe Biden said. This question was asked last week. I covered it. It might have been the week before, but I'm pretty sure it was last week. And Jen Psaki says, I don't know, if he's a private citizen or whatever. It's not our concern, but we'll get back to you. So Emerald Robinson she's following up. Jen Psaki said, I'll circle back. I'll double back on that with you. And now the time for the circle back and the double back has arrived. And this is Jen Psaki's unsurprising way of dodging and being very condescending in her answer/non-answer.
I'd point you to his representatives on that. He doesn't work in the administration.
Talk to his representatives. He doesn't work in the administration. Oh, that sure as hell was not the line of reasoning and the attitude when you guys were going after Don Jr. for talking about just listening to a real estate deal in Russia when he is a real estate guy and he was not part of the administration. Oh, but everything with the Don Jr. But now that we are having conflicts with China, one of them being that they unleashed a plague on us last year, on the world. But even if you put that huge crime against humanity to the side, we are having a trade war with them and other economic conflicts with them that had nothing to do with Don Jr. and Russia. But boy, did you guys make a big stink about that. And there was no stink to be made there. There is a stink to be made here because China is running and ruling and calling the shots to the former vice president and his cohorts. This is a legitimate question. So Jen Psaki gives a non-answer, and then this is what happens in the conversation.
The objective of this president, it's just the first stage in this process. Obviously, the ambassador gave an extensive speech today.
Into this, though, the president has said during the campaign that none of his family will have any business relationship with anyone that relates to a foreign corporation or a foreign country. Wouldn't it be assuring to the American people as we head into this if they just let the American people know if Hunter has divulged himself of that?
Again, I conveyed to you, and then I think I'm going to have to move on, that you should talk to his representatives. There's no reason to yell. I'm certainly not yelling. You should talk to his representatives. That remains his policy. He's been working to wind that down. Beyond that, I think would talk to his representatives.
Yeah, you represent the guy in the Oval Office who we're told got 81 million votes and is the president.